So hi Ishani, how are you?
Hi, Kylie. I'm well.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on Heartbeats of Hospitality. And today I will be asking you 5 questions, okay?
All right.
Great. So Ishani, can you tell me what do you do and how long have you worked in hospitality?
I have worked a little over 6 years now in the hospitality. My last role was that of a guest relations manager before the virus took us down. And unfortunately, like a lot of other people globally, I was one of the people who was let go from my company. I have I started my journey as a management trainee, and I gradually made my way to becoming a duty manager, and then I decided to branch out a little because my focus was drifting from guests to operations entirely. So after working for duty manager for several years, I decided to branch out and just settle in my guest experience role. Yeah, so it's been 2 years as a guest relations manager now.
That's fantastic. I see that you actually really love working with your guests a lot, and that's why you actually wanted to move into a guest relations role, a guest experience role. So what drew you into hospitality in the first place?
So, in my family, I have a couple of people, who have studied hospitality and worked for hotels themselves.
Mm,
And as kids, we would, my mom would take us to visit them a lot. And these
okay.
my uncles would have these really intriguing stories about their guests, that people they have met, and people of all nationalities, not just restricted to Indian guests. And he would narrate these stories to us, and it was just always be so intriguing. As I would always be excited to meet those uncles, because I know they tell me a funny story or something that happened, or an episode that happened at the hotel. And I just wonder, that I when will I get to meet so many people? Like, will I ever get to see so many faces, so many nationalities? Will that ever happen? So once I finished school, however, I did study science throughout school. Um, Naturally, I should have become an engineer or a doctor, you know, but my uncles, they felt that I was also made for the industry, so I decided to appear for the exam, and things just never stopped since. I mean, this is 2010. 2010 I started college, 2013 I graduated, and it's been 6 years of work also. So yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Any regrets that you're not a doctor and engineer at this moment?
To be honest, probably the money. My cousins are all engineers or doctors,
Hmm.
so that's just a little tiny bit that hurts, because
Hmm.
unfortunately hospitality industry globally isn't paid very well, as much as other industries. It's a well-known fact. I mean,
Hmm.
there's nothing to hide there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
Okay, but I guess as you are inspired by your uncles, and actually I'm also curious, do you remember any of the stories that your uncles have told you?
Oh, so this was back in their time, okay? This is back when they
Yeah.
were young,
Yeah.
and
Ah,
they
okay.
were just, yeah. I mean, I was also a child.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
fast forward like 20, at least 15 years back.
mm-hmm.
So it would just be because, my brother and I would visit them, and they would have to maybe start a conversation with us. He would just tell us, oh, I met this person from Turkey. Do you know where Turkey is on the map? you know it would start
Yeah.
like that, and I'd be like, oh wait, he's met someone from Turkey. And I
Mm-hmm,
was from a tier 2 city in Rajasthan is a
mm-hmm,
state, and I'm from Jaipur, though it's the
mm-hmm.
capital. It still isn't a very big city, and we would only see locals. I mean, I'd be surprised. I'd be like, wait, where do you meet people like that? So unless you go to like
Ah.
really fancy hotels, because we have these beautiful palace hotels in the
Mm-hmm,
city, okay?
mm-hmm,
Gorgeous hotels, heritage hotels, let's just say that. So palaces which are still are the homes of these kings and queens. So they partially live in that palace, and the partial palace is let out to hotels. So imagine living there with them. So they would take us to these hotels to show us around, and like very obviously discreetly. We couldn't really stare at the guests. It'd be
Mhm.
so creepy. So he just look at them and he just tell us fun facts about them, that this person has traveled so much and he's come, and look, that's his little daughter, or someone's come for work, so he's been away from his family so much. Do you know how many monuments are there? Like he just start these little
Wow.
trivia with us, and also let us know that there's so much on the world map to see, etc. I mean, when you're kids, this is what excites you, this is what intrigues you, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't know if you'll ever leave the country and go to another, or that traveling is possible. I mean, you just you're still there in that moment, and you haven't really seen the outside world so much. So
Yeah. I love that story so much. I love it. It's like it's in your blood as well, you know? It's
yeah,
yeah, cool. Very
my
nice.
parents are not very thrilled about my choice though. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay. Um, that's okay. I'm sure they're very proud of what you have achieved actually, you know, and
Yeah,
that you're such a happy person.
I think they eventually just succumbed to the fact that there's not much they can do.
Oh, you can say something, but you can't stop me.
Yeah, because I wouldn't, like, I haven't been home in 10 years.
Mhm.
So I think the reason that they didn't maybe like it as much is because I was away from home so much. Like,
Mhm.
for a person who's never really left her city where she was born and brought up, to suddenly someone who's not been home for a very long time in 10 years, who's just been running around, from one city to another, sort of exploring everything that life has to offer to her, in that moment. So yeah.
I think that's so exciting. Okay, so with all these exciting things that's been happening to you, what is the most memorable incident you've had in the last 6 years at work?
there's this um I knew this couple from Goa. I mean, there are plenty of people who I'm so fond of, and who share the same affection for me, who
Mhm.
I'm still in touch with. It's been years, some people 6 years, some people 2 years, because I may have met them recently, some three, but there are at least five people from each organization that I've worked for, who I
Mhm.
am in touch with, whose kids I know, whose families I know, everything.
Mhm.
So there was this really old couple from London. I met them in Goa, at one of my previous properties where I used to work. And they had been coming to that property for 10 years.
Mm.
So yeah, before I joined there, 10 years they spent there. The 11th year is when I was introduced to them.
Mhm.
This really kind, very kind couple, very old, but they always come to Goa. It's like their own getaway, to get away from their daughters, granddaughters, pets, just to get some sun and relax.
Mhm.
And I remember, and they would come for a month, every year for a month. And I remember this that 11th year, in that month, it was I remember they also spent Easter with us. There was not one day where we did not sit up and we didn't sit by the pool or at the beach and had a chat. So the husband didn't speak much. He was very reserved, but the wife was really chatty, you know so I remember the first week, the husband just sat there and listened, you know just listen. We would talk about everything under the stars. We would talk about books, we would talk about pet shelters, we would talk about if I would ever get married, we would talk about their family, we would talk about what I like, the food, the industry, the water, jellyfish, you name it. I remember the entire week, he was polite, so he would just wish me hello or the time of the day. After a week, He came and he sat by me before his wife even got there, because it was like our chat time,
Mm-hmm.
like those 20 minutes for hours every day. I would
Mm-hmm.
ensure that I take that time out,
Mm-hmm.
to spend with them. And he talked and he talked and he talked and he talked to me. And his wife was stunned. I was also stunned, because for a week we didn't speak at all. I mean, even when I would drive them around, so we had these little buggies because the
Mm-hmm.
property was massive.
Mm-hmm.
So, people couldn't really walk all the way to the beach. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was my job to pick them up every day. Like, I would, no matter how poor driver I am, I would just pick them up in like a golf cart ish, and then I would drop them off to wherever they needed to be. And this man, he just wouldn't stop talking. So from 20 minutes, I remember vividly that day, we spent about 2 hours together just talking. And I was like, maybe it's just taken him some time to say, warm up to me. But once he started, it just became and then he would take me with him for bird watching. We would go, play a little golf. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't even play golf, but he would just like my company, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this became our regular affair. And fast forward to 4 years, I am still in touch with them. we
Oh,
video
that's
call
nice.
we video call, because every day is not possible anymore. We do it twice a month. And very recently he passed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yes, he passed, but it was a very, very peaceful passing, and
Mm.
I realized that maybe they lived away from their own families. And I realized that his wife needs me even more than she did before. And ever since these things happened, I ensure I make it a point to speak to her once a day. It's just so necessary. I mean, imagine having a family, but which is not related to you by blood, but they're just there and they know all about me and I know all about them. They know about my rabbit, they know about my dog, they check. It's like it's just this connection. And I thank my stars very much for the fact that I may not be able to get so close to everyone. I mean, our job does not permit us that. We cannot be, because you have to be around everyone. And if you start getting so close to every single person, I mean, the work will never get done, right?
That's
But
true.
there are I mean, as much as we would want to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. So, and now I have made my own family of people who are not related to me, who I just met as a requirement of my job or what I did, but who have chosen me as an important person in their life. And it is so much better than all the riches or the money that an organization can offer you, Kyra.
Mm. You're
Imagine
very
taking so many
blessed.
people.
You're
I
so
am,
blessed. Yeah.
I am very much. Imagine taking so many people home with you every day.
Oh my
If
God. You're very blessed, Ishani. Very, very
yeah.
blessed.
I see I have a little tear,
No,
but
I'm also kind of little tearing up.
yeah,
I didn't think I was gonna admit on air, but
yeah,
okay. Well, you know what? Yes, I am definitely.
yeah. I really never thought that there's so many people out there who think so affectionately and for me, or pray about me, or only wish the good things for me. It just makes my heart so full. It just makes my heart so full. Another one of the reasons why I absolutely love what I do, and why I groom my fellow team members. I groom people who've just stepped in the industry, because so many times you can just lose morale because we are not as appreciated as we want to be, maybe at work. And not everyone's very open to the fact, or not everyone sees what we do. every day. For them it may just feel like it's super easy just talking to people, but it's not just talking to people. It's a lot of emotions, it's a lot of things you carry within yourself, the will to be able to wake up every day and do it again. I mean, and it's not robotic. Every person is different. You dealing with you and dealing with maybe Kyla 2.0 is going to be very different. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just this, just bringing people happiness. I can't tell you how much I just love it. I I look forward to doing it every day.
My heart, my heart. It goes out to you. Thank you so much for that beautiful story. Wow. I love it. And how is the lady doing? Is she doing fine? Like,
She's well. She'd been sort of preparing herself for a while because he hadn't been keeping well. He
okay.
wasn't his usual self. But
Okay.
loneliness gets to us faster than anything else, right?
Yep.
And it's not what age you are, or it
Mm-hmm.
just gets to us, and it's very important that we are there for people during those times,
Yep.
especially.
Please send her my love. I know I don't know her, but please send her my
I
love.
will. Okay.
Okay. Well, I think let's move on to the next question. And I think this, I would love to hear about this from you. So, if what is one thing that you would like to keep in our industry, and one thing that you would like to change for the future of our industry?
I think what I would like to keep. So, have you seen how the entire world is just getting so virtual?
Mm-hmm.
Everything can be done virtually. I mean, with this current work from home scenario, people have found ways to just be equally efficient, even while sitting in their bed with their laptop and doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we really do not know what's the future of hospitality looking like at this point. Will so many people be traveling anymore? Considering things can be done from the safe space of their homes
Mm-hmm.
now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
will the business be as much? Will
Mm-hmm.
will people board so many flights? Will how long will it take for people to sort of go on vacations again? So I think the one thing that I would really like to keep is the personalization of our industry, Kyla. I cannot do this virtually. I have to be there. I have to look at you in your eyes. I have to understand how you're feeling in that moment. I cannot be chirpy with you at any time of the day, right? I have to read you before that. I have to know your body language. And unfortunately, I don't feel that can be read virtually. For me to be able to actually look at you when I'm talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
I need that
Mm-hmm.
personalization. That's my tool. It's my weapon. That's what it is.
Yep.
That little circle where you and I stand and just look at each other, and the
Yep.
tone of your voice,
Mm-hmm.
that is what tells me what my next move is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, wouldn't you want to just be there physically, like in happiness and sadness, or good day, bad day, like just be there. It's a tangible feeling. I want to be able to reach out. I want to be able to give a hug if necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I would, yeah. So personalization is what that I wouldn't want to lose at all. It is, it's gravely important. It is very, very important. And this is what sets us apart from the rest of the industries, because no other industry goes above and beyond the way we do.
That's so beautiful. That's beautifully said. I agree wholeheartedly. And what is one thing then you would like to change in our industry for the future?
I would like to change the monotony of it. The paperwork bit of it, the robotic bit of it, where my receptionists don't have the time to look up and smile because they are burrowed under paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would like all of that to change with how the world is progressing and things
Mm-hmm.
are happening. I mean, all of this needs to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just like and with how things will be even now in future,
Mm-hmm.
all that we need to do is sort of just be there in the moment and give our best, make that eye contact, give that smile, hit up that conversation, I mean, all of this writing, typing, all of this, it's all secondary. I wish
Mm-hmm.
that it used, at least in India, it's still a lot. I don't know about where you are right now or
Mm-hmm.
about the international scenario
Mm-hmm.
of it. But in India, paperwork is still a lot. It is a lot of reports, lot of, like, and then you realize, wait, I am not an accountant. I do not need to spend so much time on my screen.
I am not an accountant. Okay. Okay. I have a follow-up question for this though. Now,
Okay.
let's just say, okay, if we get to take away all the paperwork and let it be done, automated, I mean, robotics and everything, they can do things like that, right? We
Right.
don't really need all this to be done. Are you afraid that they'll see human, the human part of the work being redundant?
Of course not. See, the human part, I think you can train anyone to do the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I could literally just bring, maybe a kid who's in class 11 or 12 and teach him. This is how you need to do it. How difficult is it to learn paperwork? Can you actually change a person's personality, that the roots? I mean, I can't force somebody to talk to someone, not everyone's comfortable. Not everyone's, a lot of people are shy in our, and correct, currently in the age that we are living in, so many people are just so used to the virtual bit of things, they actually can't make that personal connection at all. Probably my kids will never know how it is to just stop where I am, meet someone and talk and not just text away. It's even
Yeah.
the kids who I train now, it's so difficult. I don't understand why they need that push to be able to, tell them that it's okay, you'll make a mistake. But what will you will just say something wrong? It's fine. But people are just so, they're like, no, there's no need to talk. But that's all. People are away from home. People haven't seen their loved ones in months. I miss my mom. All I want to hear is a good morning. All I want to hear is, have a good day. All I want is someone to check on me if I ate. You know, these things, they cannot be done robotically. You need personal touch for it.
I
You need,
love that. I love that. Thank you. I
yeah,
love that. So we're definitely not redundant. I think it's also the perception of the society, or like, the perception of the industry. Because I think
right.
there was a recent trend where, they say that, okay, we can automate a lot of things. It will actually increase the productivity of work in our industry, in hospitality. Let's say if it's in a hotel, you can take away all the paperwork and then you can hire half the number of people.
No, I don't think it works like that.
But
A
it's
person's emotional strength can only take so much. You
mhm.
know,
Yeah.
you, yeah. Could
Okay.
you hold on 1 second? I'm just going to
Of
plug in
course.
my charger before
Of
I
course.
vanish.
Sure.
Yes, and we're back. Yes.
Okay. So anyway, that's really beautiful, whatever you said just
I'm very
earlier.
sorry if I'm giving you very long answers.
No, I love it. I love it, my dear. Now, I do have one last question for you, and it's usually
Mhm.
my favorite question to ask
Uh-huh.
anybody that I speak with. Okay. It's, what is your one word core value in your hospitality work?
So the core value which I, you know, religiously follow is now.
Now, like,
NOW,
oh,
now,
okay.
this moment,
Okay.
us here in
Mm-hmm.
this moment. All my teamwork, ownership, integrity, all of these are very important values, of course,
Mm-hmm.
hospitality. Um, but if I am not acting in the moment that I am in, this, you and me, if I push it to later, or if I plan this, all of the other values will make no sense. This, us in this moment, or me or another person in that moment, and what is required of me then, what is needed from me then. If I don't act upon it, then I don't succeed as a leader or as a professional. So just dealing with that situation in the moment, no procrastinating, then no waiting for you know no excuses, nothing, just attacking it, then making the most of whatever tools I have in that moment, and just creating magic with it. So now, this moment, this time, this minute,
To
because
be
I
in the
know
now.
it will not return, that guest will not return, the moment that we shared, it will not return. So just acting around that little fragment of time, just building the entire episode or the entire experience around that is what matters to us, is what is necessary.
Thank you so, so much. That is, again, another beautiful one from you, Ishani. Now, thank you so much for your time to talk to us about your stories. I'm sure everyone is really happy listening to your stories, and like there's like smiles and like inspiration in our minds right now. So I will be turning off the recording right now. And